Welcome back to another Kray video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos. And for people really into the Krays, join our private Facebook group, Krays Crime Lords of London, where you can find stuff possibly unavailable anywhere else. We're an established group and very friendly. The link is in the YouTube description section.
I think if there is a legacy, it's don't be an unsuccessful criminal, because whatever else they were very unsuccessful criminals.
Crime don't pay. Charlie Kray died in prison. Reggie Kray died in prison. Ronnie Kray died in prison. For whatever they achieved in life was such a small amount to what they might have achieved.
Ronnie would have done it all again. The difference between Reggie and Ronnie would have been a gangster if you put Ronnie Kray in America, France, Germany, anywhere you want, Italy, he would have been a gangster. Ronnie Kray couldn't be nothing else.
In my head, Ronnie Kray, the picture of Ronnie Kray mingles in with Al Capone. I think he wanted to be Al Capone all his life, and within my head, he kind of made it, to be honest.
They got too big for their boots. I think if they'd stayed round Bethnal Green, they probably would have had a much longer run.
They had ended their days as prisoners of their own legends. The murderers had taken away their freedom, but given them fame.
In fact, in the end, they both become mad. And this, I think, was the sort of tragedy of what happened to the Krays. It was a terrible, tragic story of their life. They got immortality, and that's what they were doing. They were killing for fame.
It was part of their mystique that they was, this identical side, identical twins. And if you hurt one, you had to hurt the other one.
It meant they could fight as one. They had telepathy between themselves. They could understand what the other was doing or saying without actually using any words.
It was a partnership. They wouldn't do anything without each other. You understand me? And if one was upset about something, he wouldn't have nobody else around. There was just them to talk about it.
As they got older, I think Reggie was the saner of the two. Reggie got thinner and very anxious looking. You could see he was living on his nerves. Ronnie didn't live in the real world at all.
Strange thing was then, even then, Ronnie was like the stronger personality, really, I suppose, more forward, whereas Reggie was a bit more laid back. But even then, and that's exactly how it was as they got older, the same thing. But Ronnie was the leading light even then.
People were scared stiff of them. This is their stock in trade. Ronnie particularly was a very frightening man. He was a great fighter. He killed people and he cut people up and he went for people. He wasn't a sweet old sugar daddy. And this is what the essence of their power was. People were terrified of them.
These people are suddenly heroes, when in fact they were really, really wicked villains. Make no mistake about it.
The Krays are regarded as diamond geezers by their own kind, on the basis that they basically only wiped out scum. That's the perception.
A great one for the cut and thrust of close combat, and believe me, he's reckoned to have sliced up more people than most people have cut up Sunday joints. They weren't liked at the time. They were certainly respected and feared, but they weren't liked. There won't be too many tears shed about the demise of Ronnie Kray. He was a very game man, yes, and he had very good principles. Principles that wouldn't agree with some people, but certainly principles that agree with me. And women and children, he loved them. And he was very honourable. I really mean it.
The one thing I would love people to remember, who say bad things, you know, remember he had an illness. And if it wasn't for that, he would have been a different person.
Ronnie Kray, his attitude to life was this: if you do harm to me, I'm going to do harm to you. And I think we all lived by that. we were at the East End, and that's how we saw life. I'm not saying it's right, but at least we didn't harm any innocent member of the public.
They commanded a hell of a lot of respect. The name was very, very well known and very, very feared. I can assure you of that. Very feared.
On March the 5th, 1969, identical twins, Reginald and Ronald Kray, were sentenced to life imprisonment. They were 35 years old. Summing up, Justice Melford Stevenson said, "I'm not going to waste words on you. In my view, society has earned a rest from your activities, and I recommend that you be held for at least 30 years.
Charlie was a joking bloke, very nice fella. In my opinion, never was a villain and never would have been a villain. Reggie, you look at him in his eyes, you smell fear, and fear came on with Ronnie, you know, oozed out of him. He had a smile, almost take it two ways. Either he's smiling at you because you're going to get hurt, or he's smiling at you because he likes you. I mean, Ronnie would be laughing and joking about, all of a sudden, he'd pick on you.
My mother was simply a wonderful woman. No man ever had a finer mother. We often had no money and very little food, but she always made sure that Reggie and Charlie and I had something to eat and something half decent to wear. She never gave in to despair or frustration. Even when times were bleak and the future seemed to hold nothing, I would kill any man who spoke ill of my mother.
I met them through Charlie, their brother Charlie, who was older than them, and then the twins were only young then, but there was something about them that was destined for to be notorious, you know, because they was a bit unruly, to say the least. I remember the first time I went to their home, they were out in the backyard punching the daylights out of each other, you know, and the old man and Charlie had to go out and stop them. But he used to say to me, Charlie, to have a word with them, you know, the twins, and see if he can talk some sense into them. But of course they were too young and fiery, they wouldn't listen to what you had to say. They're going one ear and out the other, they still do what they wanted to do.
The Krays had got something about them that was almost indefinable. But to say that they were personalities is wrong, because they projected an aura of evil, of power, They would resort to violence at the slightest provocation to establish a reputation. And this they did very, very successfully, so that not only foreigners and people that intruded into the East End, but members of their own gang respected them because of that violence.
They were frightening to everybody in the East End, yes, they were. They called each other names and want to fight each other, but if you interfered, then you were the enemy, and the two of them would turn on you, you know, so you have to be very careful how you behaved around them.
They thought they was untouchable, and they thought they could get away with, no one was going to give evidence against them.
They only went into people that were breaking the law. You know, like if you had a publican who was having a laugh to China, then they could go into them. Or if they had a club where they were doing illegal gambling, dice, speeding or something like that, they would go into them if they weren't their whack. But no way could they ever go into straight people. Because if they come into you, the first thing you do, pick the phone up, give it to the police. And that was it.
His tremendous power to terrify was the Kray twins' greatest weapon.
One just have to glare at some people and they shit themselves. That was one of his favourite tricks. He would sit in a pub or club where we were, and people would be brought in for various reasons, and he could just sit there and stare at this person for half an hour, and that person he hasn't said a word to him, and that person's gone away and thoroughly cowed, and been told off without a word. That was how much fear he generated.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly, moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you there soon.
Leave a like and subscribe.